Hello, genealogist. This is Craig, and I'm playing catch up. I have no futures ready to go. So when that usually happens, I walk the shelves and try to find a book that I want to talk about. And a lot of the books that I come across or even publish are terribly mislabeled in regards to title. Although the title may deal exactly with the contents of what it is, the title very rarely describes in its entirety what the book is really all about. And this is one of those books. It's called A Buffalo Soldier's Story, and it's the story of Medal of Honor recipient Sergeant Thomas Boyne and his comrades, 1864 to 1889. That's by William A. Alshire. Now, Mr. Alshire is no longer with us, but his focus early on in his writing career was Negro Baseball League, especially those associated with Prince George's County, Maryland. And during the course of his working on a book called The Sandlot, relating to the Prince George's County Negro League team, he, because of his work, was invited to actually here in Rocky Mount, where I live, to attend the Walter Buck Leonard Day ceremonies in 1997 to celebrate Buck Leonard's 90th birthday. Now, we have a road named after Buck Leonard here in Rocky Mount. I didn't know who Buck Leonard was until I started looking at this book. And he died in 1997, not long after that. He died in November, and they had a 90th birthday celebration for him in September. And this got Mr. Alshire interested in some other things, and he was asked to participate in a Buffalo Soldier Day. And he became very interested in Thomas Boyne. Thomas Boyne was from Prince George's County, Maryland, and that's why he was interested. And plus, there in Prince George's County, there also was the Baltimore chapter, or near Prince George's County in Baltimore, was the Baltimore chapter of the 9th and 10th Horse Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers Association. And he became very interested in them also. And he decided at some point that he would research the life of Thomas Boyne. Now, Thomas Boyne spent 6 enlistments in the United States Army. So that would, I think, probably be a total of, I think it was 23 or 27 years. The research into the life of Thomas Boyne has indeed been a voyage, he wrote, met with many historical challenges, but the end result will enlighten the reader of the commitments demonstrated by Boyne and his comrades. More specific details from pertinent documents, orders, acts, and news articles that constitute this historical review will be offered. The muster roll records for 6 enlistments, February 1864, which means near the end of the Civil War, to February 28, 1889, are completely detailed in this book. Now, what this means is that he's not only talking about Boyne, but he's also talking about his comrades. So any company that Boyne was in, all of his comrades are also listed in the muster rolls because he transcribed the muster rolls for all of those years. Since this is his life story, Sergeant Thomas Boyne's entire military career has been included, as it presents a precise, detailed account as recorded every 2 months by the unit commander of all assigned personnel. These reports are historically important to researchers because they include promotions, enlistment dates and locations, details and duty assignments, deaths, discharges, transfers, court-martial information, pay status, sick records, and station locations. The event section of the muster report, as written entry by the unit commander of his unit's actions, particularly of engagements, scouts, marches, changes in duty stations, service of the company, and the date, place, and distance marched, etc. The muster roll records are generally in poor condition, and the aging process has taken its toll. In particular, the muster roll records and returns for Company B, 2nd Light Artillery, United States Colored Troops, and Company K, 40th United States Infantry, are in a very fragile condition and are restricted. They had not been previously published, and I have provided an accurate transcription for the benefit of researchers and genealogists. Did I mention that Thomas Boyne is a Medal of Honor recipient? Sergeant Thomas Boyne was admitted as a patient to the United States Soldiers' Home in Washington, D.C. on 23 April 1889 with a pension of $10 a month, having served nearly 23 years of military service to his country. The United States Soldiers' Home, formerly designated a military asylum, was established by an act of Congress in 1851. Its main objective was to furnish permanent and comfortable home for old and disabled soldiers. Sergeant Thomas Boyne died at the United States Soldiers' Home on April 21st, 1896, and is interred in the grounds of the Soldiers' Home National Cemetery in Section J, grave 5859. On August 18, 1976, a result of local citizens' concerns, the National Cemetery replaced his headstone to properly reflect him as a Medal of Honor recipient. The present wording on his headstone now reflects him as a sergeant and that he received our nation's highest honor, the Medal of Honor, during the Indian Wars. That's what this rather thick tome is about. Thomas Boyne, a Buffalo soldier. Now, my suggestion is that you may not be African American, but you may have an interest in military records. And by going through the entire life story of Sergeant Thomas Boyne and his military service, you will gain some rather deep insight into what kinds of records exist, what the life of a soldier is like, and how you can do other research in order to find your own soldier. So I want to make it readily available. So I'm going to offer it for a 40% discount for all of you military aficionados or African-American researchers who want to gain insight into what a Buffalo soldier's life might actually be in the West. So this is Craig. This is Just Genealogy, and another book for a discount, and another tool for learning how to do research by following the example of someone else who has done a lot of research. See you tomorrow.